Howdy folks, I'm Mercurial Mad Hatter, maddingly mouthing meaningless messages.
I'm Amber.
But let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Supporting My Wife's Decision to Punish Our Son and Letting Him Go to a Party that will be tonight? This is a throwaway, but this involves some absolute high school drama nonsense that someone my age should not be dealing with. But maybe I'm tripping and missing something, so here I am. I'm a 45-year-old male and my daughter is a 17-year-old female, and son, a 15-year-old male, with my wife, a 41-year-old female. My wife's best friend, 40-year-old female, has two daughters, one 18-year-old female and one 15-year-old female. My wife's best friend moved to our town about 6 years ago. My wife and her best friend have been not so subtly pulling for the two 15-year-olds to end up together. I find this weird and low-key kind of creepy. About 2 years ago, my wife's best friend, youngest daughter, appeared to have developed a crush on our son. My son talked to me about it and has zero interest. So we discussed how to tactfully but firmly let her down. She has approached him a number of times over the last couple of years, and he has reaffirmed his lack of interest. This past summer, my wife's best friend's older daughter turned 18. Her parents went all out for her birthday. It was a whole weekend of festivities and events. One of the events was a couple's dinner for the oldest daughter and all of her friends and couples. The younger daughter of the wife's best friend wanted to go to the dinner but did not have anyone to go with. So she asked my son and he agreed to go, but only as friends and just this one time. So they went together. After the dinner, the couples all watched 10 Things That I Hate About You together. It was my son's first time seeing it, and he commented that he thought that Heath Ledger singing scene was pretty cool. This is important later. My business partner, a 44-year-old male, every year for the last 5 years throws a huge Halloween party. All of our employees are invited along with close friends and family. The party requires a costume, and at this party, there are prizes for the best individual costumes, group costumes, and couples costumes. My wife's best friend and her family are obviously invited every year. This year, the Halloween party is tonight, October 26th. So, let me get to the reason that I'm here. About a month ago, my son is at school, and who comes towards him is my wife's best friend's youngest daughter with a whole song and dance routine. She ends it by asking him to be her date for the Halloween party. My son was so frustrated and reiterated for everyone to hear that he's not interested in her like that at all. Of course, it being high school, some of the kids laughed and she ran off crying. She has been bullied pretty badly because of it. My wife's best friend is livid and thinks that our son owes her an apology. My wife agrees and thinks that at a minimum he needs to defend her against the bullying. My son has said that for 2 years, he has told her that he's not interested and reiterated it all over and over again. At this point, he thinks that it's kind of harassing to him, and it's not his role to defend her from harassment. I agree with my son. My wife and I have had a number of disagreements about this since it happened. Well, things have intensified in the last couple of weeks or so because of another girl who my wife's best friend's daughter apparently does not like, asked our son to be her date for the party and he agreed. They are doing a pretty dope couple's costume as well. This has really made my wife mad because she thinks that at least he should not go to the party with another girl out of respect. I think that this is ridiculous. I plan on driving him to the party with me. My wife now does not want to go to the party and is saying that I'm a jerk and raising our son to be one. So am I a jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, the son has been made it very clear for 2 years that he is not interested in this girl romantically. And she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. And it sounds like some of this is probably on part of her mom. Like, I think the parents are the biggest jerks in all of this, the moms in this, who are pushing their kids together. The daughter is misguided, but what she's doing is not okay. Like, it's one thing to have a crush on someone, but to repeatedly pressure them to date you when they have made their feelings very clear is not a good thing to do, and she needs to learn not to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that aspect of it is probably the most problematic of it. Now, again, like, she has a crush and kids are still learning how to deal with these kinds of feelings. And certainly, like, I think this is going to be a learning experience for her that, if she does these kinds of things, then it's not necessarily going to work out. And she probably has a very romanticized version of reality right now, right? And
Hmm.
I mean, kids tend to. I mean, right?
Right.
I mean, she's a kid. She's a 15-year-old. She did a big song and dance that she thought would impress him because she's like, oh, I've seen this in the movies. These things work, right?
Right. Well, and it sounds like the moms are really pushing this idea, and like the wife's whole thing of, oh, he shouldn't go with another girl because out of respect. Like, she needs to accept that he is going to date other girls. He's not interested in her.
Yeah.
And the moms need to back off and stop like interfering at all. Like the one mom of the daughter should have told her, he's not interested in you, leave him alone. And OP's wife should be supporting her son and saying, hey, it's okay not to be interested in dating someone. It's important for you to be able to vocalize your discomfort.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the friend that he's going with to the party?
I mean, it doesn't sound like she's done anything wrong. It sounds like the best friend's daughter just doesn't like her. Like, if she was like a bad person or a bully, that might be a different thing, but it just sounds like she doesn't like her. And like, kids don't like each other, and that's okay.
Yeah. What how much do you want to bet that the reason why she doesn't like her is because she's
OP's
been
son likes her.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm guessing that some of that disagreement isn't necessarily from like the bullying and stuff like
yeah,
that, but more that she has a crush and well they both are fighting over him essentially, right?
yeah. Which is unfortunate, but it's important for her to realize like you can't always date the person you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad,
Hmm.
right? I mean, certainly, like, she has a crush, and these are complicated feelings, and she's being encouraged, and that's not a good approach,
Well,
right?
she's being encouraged to pursue someone who has no interest in her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unfortunate that this has happened, gone on for 2 years with the parents not like stepping in and being like, hey, this isn't okay. You need to not do this.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Teaching My Kids Not to Cry? I'm a mom to 3 kids, Henry, a 14-year-old male, Haley, an 11-year-old female, and Gina, an 8-year-old female. I'll admit that they are raised differently from most. There seems to be a push for people to express their emotions and whatever, but I believe in emotional toughness. So I teach my kids not to overexpress like people are doing. I don't do criers, so if they cry, I tell them that they need to go into another room. I don't find it appropriate to cry in front of others. They're not babies anymore, and they can control their emotions. My husband and I lead by examples as well and leave the room to cry. Our family, my husband's mother, and my parents and brother came over, and we had a discussion about husband's father who died last year. Gina got upset and left the room, and my mom went to go and check on her, and a little while later found her still crying. Gina told her how we taught them not to cry in public, and my mom went off on me, saying that I was damaging my kids. My brother and husband's mom chimed in as well and agreed with her. My father agreed with me, but now the family is torn over this. Am I a jerk for teaching my kids not to cry? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, absolutely. You are the jerk, OP. Your kids need supportive adults in their life. Like, first of all, expressing your emotions is a healthy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, when someone dies, even if you burst out in tears in the middle of your office, like, yeah, it may be a little uncomfortable for some people, but you'd have to be really heartless to be like, oh, you're upset over your grandfather dying? Like, that's so inappropriate. Like, it's not we need to not act like having emotional displays is like a terrible, horrible thing. Like, children crying need to be comforted. They need to know there are safe adults who can help them work through these complicated feelings. It's like Obi hasn't even given them any of the guidance. It's just like, go cry elsewhere. Like, she's grieving. She needs help processing her grief. And you're just shutting her out and saying, that's not okay. Go cry in your room.
I would be a little more understanding if they were crying over something like a, toy that they couldn't buy from a store, or if they couldn't get a gumball from a gumball machine. And OP saying, look, we've been over this before. If you're going to cry like this, then you need to go to your room, right? But what OP is teaching their kids isn't necessarily emotional toughness.
No.
They're teaching them to repress their emotions.
Right. Well, and I mean, even in the case of kids who cry over toys, like you don't have to cater to them,
No,
certainly.
no.
But letting them know like we don't have the money for the toy or we're not buying toys right now, like give them still an explanation,
Of
a
course,
firm one,
yeah.
and um, so I think just straight up dismissing kids and being like, go cry elsewhere isn't healthy because it doesn't convey what's going on.
Well, I wasn't saying to dismiss them. I
Yeah.
just meant like say like if they were, misbehaving, you've already told them that they can't have this thing and then they continue to try and throw a temper tantrum or cry or something like that.
Right, because there are times when kids will cry to pull on your
Mhm.
emotions, and they know they can do that.
Yeah.
And that's very different from children crying in grief.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think it's important to let kids know that, yeah, like I understand that you're upset about this, but I'm not going to cater to your whims because of that.
Yeah.
But it's a very different thing to be like, oh, well, you're upset about your grandfather. You need to go cry elsewhere because I don't want to deal with this. Like, I don't do criers. What kind of a parent says that?
Well, I think if someone doesn't do criers, then maybe being a parent isn't something that they should be considering doing.
Exactly. Like, this, I feel so bad for these poor kids. I hope they get into therapy soon so they can actually learn how to process emotions appropriately
Hmm.
and don't end up as emotionally stunted adults.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for washing the underwear of a woman who is staying at our house even though I'm a guy? I'm a male and I live with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's close friend is staying with us for a week. She is traveling in from a different city and sleeping in a spare bedroom in our house. One morning, it was nice and sunny, and while my girlfriend was sleeping in and her friend was also still asleep, I thought that it would be a good opportunity to do some laundry. I did all three kinds of laundry in two different batches and then hung them out to dry. Later, this lady was livid because apparently I'm a man and I can't handle her underwear without permission. I did all of her laundry, including hers, which had been dumped in a separate basket, but also in the laundry room next to the same basket that my girlfriend and I use. I thought that it would be good if we just did all of our laundry and got it out of the way. I wasn't going to expect her to do her own laundry while she was a guest at our house. Anyways, this girl was livid that I was manhandling a week's worth of her bras and panties and then hung them out to dry. My girlfriend took her side and said that I shouldn't be going through ladies' stuff like that without their permission. I didn't do anything wrong. I did a kind gesture. I thought that they would appreciate it. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I do think Opie's in the wrong here. Now, I understand he wasn't intentionally in the wrong, but this is someone else's personal stuff. And not everyone's comfortable with having someone else handle their underwear. Like her clothes were in a separate basket for a reason. She probably intended to wash them on her own. There's also the issue of maybe some of her clothes are delicate and need to be washed separately. It sounds like Opie did two giant loads of laundry, so may not even have to wash them appropriately. But yeah, it's a matter of comfort. It's a matter of this isn't Opie's property, it's her property, and yeah.
So I'm gonna go with no one's in the wrong here, right? So my kind of feeling on this is that he didn't do this out of like some like weird gratification. He did this because he was sincerely trying to be a helpful individual and did not understand the social implications of what he did. And um, that's kind of where I view it. I don't think that he did this maliciously,
I mean,
right?
I don't think he did it maliciously, but I'm going to push back a little bit because it seems like
Hmm.
he's not open to feedback. His last line is, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I did a kind gesture. I thought they'd appreciate it.
Hmm.
Which, like, I get he thought they would appreciate it, but he's not willing to own up that he has hurt someone by doing this.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
even if you don't mean to do something hurtful, if you hurt and upset another person, it's your responsibility to own up to it.
Well, sure. I mean, I do think that he should be owning up to it. I think that he should apologize and say, I just thought I was doing something nice. I'm really sorry. I won't do your laundry again, right?
Yeah, and so I think that what I don't like the most is that he's doubling down on it. I get that he made a mistake, that he thought he was being helpful, but the way he's doubling down is like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I see that. I see that. But I can understand why the friend is upset and he seems very dismissive and is calling her like this lady and stuff like that, which I think is a little bit, I think that it's out of frustration, born out of frustration more than anything.
Yeah, because if I were in her shoes, I would also be a little uncomfortable if some person else, like if I was staying at a friend's house, I
Hmm.
wouldn't expect them to do my laundry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily want them handling my laundry. They don't even know how all my clothes are washed, and there are some things that don't go together.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm convinced that my husband secretly hates me because he eats my Reese's Pieces. I'm a 23-year-old female and my husband is a 27-year-old male, and we've been married for about 6 months. I love him and he's really the perfect guy, and we complement each other really well. The only issue is that he eats all of my Reese's Pieces. I love Reese's Pieces and he knows it. For our wedding, we had a Reese's Pieces flavored cake. Now, I don't have an issue with him eating Reese's Pieces. I just buy extra, right? The issue is, no matter how much extra I buy, he eats every single piece. I buy a monthly stock of Reese's Pieces, and within a week, they're gone. I know it's such a small thing for such a wonderful relationship, but it really throws me off. I'm not one to say it gives me the ick, but this time it really does. It seems so selfish. He knows that they're my favorite. He knows that I buy them monthly for myself, and yet he eats every single piece. I don't mind sharing. I'd give him some, but I don't understand why he has to eat them all, to the point that it makes him unwell. It just seems like such a small, selfish act packed with hidden intent. I asked him to take it slow so that I can enjoy my monthly stock, but he laughed and brushed me off. To add salt to the wound, he leaves an empty package to remind me of what I can't have. Am I being over dramatic? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, you're not being dramatic. This is very concerning behavior. I think you're right that this is like, that there's an ulterior motive here. This is some kind of like, I'm going to eat all this stuff and there's nothing you can do to stop me. It's some kind of like weird control power play of like, I'm taking your favorite thing, I'm eating it all, I'm even making myself just so I can eat it all and you can't have any.
Yeah, I certainly think that you're right here. I mean, I don't see that can be really anything but that, right? I would be concerned about the amount of sugar that he's eating in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
This is not a healthy thing to do.
Right. Well, and if it was like, I might be concerned about a binge eating disorder if there wasn't the like specifically laughing at her and leaving the empty packets for her to find. Like that feels like an extra layer of manipulation and not just, oh, I can't help myself.
Yeah, I think that OP should definitely consider seeing if he has a eating disorder, right? I mean, I certainly think that's not off the table entirely.
Well, certainly.
But I think you're probably right that this is just pure malice at this point in time. I think that it's hard to attribute just being like, a glutton here, right? Because if he was just a glutton, then he wouldn't be, he would probably be more apologetic, right?
And not rubbing it in her face that he's eating everything.
Yeah, because I don't think like he would be sincerely like, oh, I'm really sorry. I started eating one piece and then the next thing I knew the whole bag was gone, right? And like, I really didn't mean to eat them all. I'm so sorry. I'll go get you some more, right? But again, like with his whole just laughing at her or leaving the wrappers around, mocking her, I just don't think that this is a good sign at all.
No, it does not give me warm fuzzies for the relationship. My when I first read this through, my gut instinct was like, it's only 6 months, you can divorce him.
Yeah. Annulment. I don't know if you can annul over Reese's Pieces, but maybe if you get the right judge. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What is a ghost's favorite type of pasta?
A ghost's favorite type of pasta is the little bow ties, because they like to actually wear them as little ghosty bow ties around.
That's cute. I love that. But Spooketti.
Oh, Spooketti. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior, folks.
Happy Friday, Junior, and happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it as though you are a zombie philosopher.
Even zombies know not to eat all the brains and to share with their partner.
That's right, folks. If you're a zombie, share. Share and share alike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.